Hey everyone, my name's Chris Lambert. On this channel, we talk Kanye West, and today we're going to be watching this breakout programming from Netflix called Genius Conversation: Personal Stories Behind Some of the Biggest Moments. Which this is Coodie and Chike, the directors of Genius, the Kanye doc on Netflix, talking with Deon Cole, comedian. You might know him from Barbershop, Blackish. So he's an old-time friend of Coodie as they were doing Chicago comedy together, or just in the comedy scene in Chicago, doing Chicago comedy together. It doesn't even make any sense, but they were both in the comedy scene in Chicago. So we're going to watch this. Hopefully it doesn't get copyright struck by Netflix, and just kind of react along the way. I'm pretty excited. I haven't watched it yet, so we're going to be kind of like listening to what they have to say, reacting, and we're just a few days away, less than a week from part 3 dropping. So this is going over parts 1 and 2. So let's give it a whirl, shall we?
What an honor it is to be sitting here with two of my brothers, sitting here screening and discussing one of the biggest directorial projects yet, man.
Yeah, man.
I mean, this whole project, man, about Kanye West. Did you even think that we'll be sitting here doing this? I mean, to be honest with you, I did. But I mean, we here.
Cole with the jokes.
Right?
I'm just happy you did this with us. You know what I'm saying?
Man, we found. Kanye was another guy coming up in the game. I remember being at the cop.
Yeah, it looks a little, the setup is cool. It's just like, I've been in that position where you're like constantly like turning to look at someone, and I can just feel it in my neck.
Yeah.
Performing, and you'll go back there and you support them. Yeah. If anybody was good, you supported them. That's just what it was, you know. And Coodie saw something that we all saw, but Coodie saw way grander than what we did.
Right. That's why I said
he gonna be one of the greats, trust me, the next greats. And what's fucked up is that when a nigga become great, people get hate. Screaming, Jesus!
And you need an angel to watch over you.
I am Shakespeare in the flesh. Ain't nobody never broke down. I ain't got the answers, man. You ain't got the answers.
Man, that's a montage, right? You can just feel it building. So Giant in the Mirror is part 1 of this conversation.
with the film, it's like we decided, well, this is bigger than like Kanye and Coodie. This is about like, how can we use this film to make impact to people, and how can they, to teach people how to unlock their inner genius. Everybody has an inner genius. Everybody has a purpose. Some is just it's deeper down. You got a little bit more digging to unleash it, but then you got to have this faith. You know what I'm saying? In a higher power, we say in God, to be able to, you know, really walk through adversities when you start to embark on that journey.
Absolutely.
And that's the only thing that can really kind of anchor you. You know what I'm saying? And
Jesus
walks.
So one of the things that Chike is talking about there in terms of this being for everybody, I mean, y'all who have watched part 1 and 2 have already experienced that to some degree, and just seeing how inspirational it is to see Ye go from where he was at, right? He was the guy that did H the Izzo, but he still wasn't getting the kind of shine that you would expect. Right? So he's like struggling. He's still trying to like maneuver his way, having these like downturns despite the steps forward. It always feels like there's a bunch of steps back. And then the success comes, and it's because Ye just kept driving, kept working, kept driving, kept working. Literally was driving a lot in the doc. You spent a lot of the documentaries in cars. But this is also something that you see in part 3, because that's where a lot of the thematic aspects really start to come in. And it's not told to you, right? In the way that Chike was just saying, like, this is supposed to be kind of bigger than Ye and Coodie. This is supposed to be about kind of a blueprint for instilling confidence in someone from a young age and watching them develop and empowering them. And that's really something that becomes evident in part 3 as it's shown to you, that this is going beyond Ye, it's going beyond Coodie, it's going to the next generation when you're the child being raised, but then when you're the parent raising a child, or when you're the mentor, like building up a mentee, right? There's suddenly this whole thing about the way in which we have people that build walls in front of us, and those that help us get over them. Because it's not just Ye, right? Throughout this doc, you constantly see how important other people are to helping him reach the next level. Like, he has the drive, he has the focus, he has the ability, and, you know, he probably would have gotten there, but it just would have taken a lot longer if he didn't have people along the way that were saying, you know what, I'm gonna do something to help you because I believe. And that's the same thing that you start to see with Coodie with his own daughter in part 3, right? And it's just something that you can start to think about in your own life, the times that someone has stepped up and really helped you get somewhere next level in your own life. And it doesn't have to be like a huge jump, right? Like a jump to superstardom, but it can just be that jump from working at Subway to getting something that's more of a career, or struggling in a class to somebody helping you get through, or finding a direction of what you want to do with your life, or getting the first step in the door of your career, introducing you to someone. Like, all of these things are incredibly important. And then there eventually is the reverse where you're in a position to do that for someone else. So I think that's where the true inspiration of this documentary is that it's not just about the singular drive someone has, but gets into the larger picture of, you know, the people that help us along the way, and the role models and mentors that we have that open the doors for us, and the power that you have and the power that has. So yeah, okay, back to it. Oh, this music's gonna get me like
and little do people
blocked
know,
in a
too,
second.
I just want to throw this fun fact out there. People don't know that Jesus walk dance that Kanye did. Coodie taught him that.
What?
This
What?
dance that used to be
At Jackson State.
at
Mapping
Jackson
them
State.
because it was called the Gangsta Walk.
Well, Coodie taught him that.
That's
dance.
crazy.
I'm like, let's take
I
the
didn't know
gangsta
that.
off of that and make it Jesus. And Kanye was like, yeah, and then we
He used to bring you out on stage.
Yo,
Yeah, he used to
for
bring me
real,
out all the
Coodie
time.
did.
Kanye
Coodie
used
used
to
to
bring me
do
out.
that
Yeah.
dance. He used to do that dance like on stage.
It's so
like,
funny because
yeah.
Kanye was just doing it recently when he's performing.
Yeah, yeah, I see
Yo,
that.
for real.
Oh,
He
my
still do
goodness.
it
Sister
now.
brought me
Yo,
out
he does
there. I'm
that
like,
dance
shit,
all the
right.
time.
'Cause I do it way better.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Canon GL1.
Are you good with Final Cut Pro?
I mean, I'm not good at editing, but I'm a good director.
You having a camera on Ye the way that you did is something I never seen before, but what you was documenting was hope.
Yeah.
And what you was documenting was
That's right.
passion.
That's right, Deon.
Drive is what you was documenting.
Yeah.
That's what you filmed
Yeah.
for 20 years.
Yep.
So episode 2 is called Purpose, right? What a great title. Like, tell me, how did you all
It's good. It's solid.
see that in this episode?
Well, again, just to bring it back to that whole, like, you know, we're giving people a blueprint, and it's the concept of, like, once you have a vision and you're aligned with that vision, now you know where you're trying to go. So now you're moving with purpose.
Next thing we know, we in the studio with Jay-Z, and Kanye asked him, can he spit on a song, the bounce, you know, and Jay-Z gave him that opportunity. So that was.
That's exactly what
you
I'm
know,
talking
that
about, right?
really-
Jay
really
just
gave
being
him
like,
a lot of confidence.
yeah, go for it, man. Jay being the big bro here.
Way from
Yeah.
fucking rapping in my mama for real.
He gets
What you
it.
guys say about this nigga Ye West, man?
Jay West, hot, fire, put my money on it.
Hot fire.
Then he had a car accident.
Hip-hop producer Kanye West was injured
Ah,
when his car
that
crashed
photo.
in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, early Wednesday morning.
He could have died.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
absolutely.
He could have died, but God saved him for this reason.
Did you see it in any way kill his purpose? Did it shut it down a little bit?
I mean, I just couldn't believe, like, a few weeks after, maybe 2 weeks after the accident, when they like he broke his jaw in 3 places, and he called me, talking about, man, I got this song I want you to hear. I'm like, what? Like, slow down, dude. Calm down. Like, you just broke your jaw, man. You know, I don't need to hear this song, man. You know, he like, no, you gotta hear it, you know, through the warrior, you know. And he started rapping the song to me. And I felt, you know how you feel somebody pain? I'm like, oh, as he rapping. But then I'm like, yo, this is incredible.
It's through the
what he's
wire.
rapping to me right now.
That was another question I wanted to ask you too by watching this. it seemed like he just, and he still do this to this day. He bring equipment anywhere and everywhere he go. Was there like a guy who set up this equipment? Like you know what I mean? I was like, who is Coodie hooking up this sound system? Like, who was putting that together?
Credit to Dame Dash, is he got him all that equipment after he had the accident. So that might have been the birth. I mean, not even might have been. That was the birth of, you know, him making tracks and doing music in hotel rooms.
So it was Dame who provided him.
So if you don't know, Kanye continues to this day to really work out of hotel rooms. So it seems like Dame at some point after the accident, which it might have been before we see the Through the Wire video premiere, because in the documentary it makes it seem like between the accident and the Through the Wire video premiere, like Dame wasn't really giving Ye any time of day. And then after that video premiere, Dame opens up the budget, starts giving Ye like all the money to go make the College Dropouts. But maybe this is saying that he had some of this equipment ahead of time thanks to Dame, which, you know, isn't shown in the doc, but would have been very helpful to let Ye like start doing some things. Or maybe it's just, you know, after he opened up the purse strings, Ye got this stuff and was working not just in the studio, but in the hotel room. But to this day, Ye still goes to hotels, rents out rooms or rents out the whole hotel or a floor and just uses rooms for individual like tracks. Or he might have one room be the album room, another room be the production room, another room be fashion. And he just likes to break things up, but it's always like in a hotel rather than usually properly set up in a studio. Like right now, they've been in a hotel in Los Angeles for a lot of the Donda 2 stuff, right? And then we saw, well, for Donda in the stadiums, but he was also recording in Mexico in 2020, some of the stuff for Donda at a resort. We heard about that also happening in like 2019, I think, ahead of Jesus is King. And of course, Yeezus, he was recording in hotels in Paris. And then what was the other one? You know, I'm about to say it. Watch the Throne. That's it. Watch the Throne was famously recorded in a hotel as well.
You couldn't travel because of the pressure. That, you know, you break your jaw and you wired up, you couldn't travel. Dame was like, yo, and to this day, that's his whole thing.
That's his whole thing. Anywhere he go, he set up equipment.
Yeah.
Okay, so that must have been after the crash. Dame sent him some stuff since Ye couldn't leave Los Angeles easily. Yeah. Okay.
So what's ironic though is like, when I met Coodie with Through the Wire, he comes back from LA after the accident. They want to do this music video. So he comes with this cut already. It's the documentary. See, this is what's insane. It's like a full circle. It's the documentary. So we're still in this up to that point, right?
Wow.
So I'm seeing all this footage. I mean, that alone was already,
wow.
I'd never even seen nothing like that.
Yeah.
Don't mind how we put it together. I'd never seen what he brought like that before. But that's what stuck out to me was like, with so much Kevin Pharrell's just like, you see the first time Pharrell's discovering the genius that Kanye has.
Got a little
how
hologram.
Was it like there though?
I just remember us like,
yeah, that Pharrell moment where Pharrell hears like Through the Wire and freaks out. It's one of my favorite moments. It's like a top 3 moment in the documentary for me. I just think like Pharrell's reaction and the speech he gives is just so powerful and so like emotional to me. Oh man.
After Luda did his verse, and Luda was kind of like, you know, like, I don't know, you know, with the camera and all, but he showed mad love. Then we go to Pharrell, and then it was either Kanye or Old School that said, hey, yo, turn the camera off. And, you know, I'm like, I'm not turning this camera. They'll say turn the camera off.
I heard
and
that.
they will, it's in there.
Yeah, the red light's still on.
Let it roll, man. Fuck it. They tell us to stop, we just stop.
Let it
I can tell
roll.
when a nigga is really, really hot.
Yeah.
But I can tell that, like, when they have the potential to become complacent. You do not have that. But the only thing I'm saying is that once niggas tell you hot, still doubt yourself.
See, it's all these key words that fuel him to make him go.
Hologram again.
From the right people to let him go.
Jamie
This is
Luda.
gonna take me for another 6 months. This is gonna take me to the next level. This is going just these key words.
But you gotta realize before them words even came, Kanye said,
he got this, he got that. But niggas don't even realize I ain't nowhere near
I might be living your American dream, but I'm nowhere near where my dream is, dog. I got aspirations. I got big dreams, motherfucker.
But a lot of that came from Donda.
So yeah,
Mother, people that she planted that seed. That's what people don't. That's how you really.
Yo, I really like. So the spacing when I first saw it, I was just like, it's a little strange to have them like in that triangle, but I get you want like the conversation. Deon's kind of leading things, but now I'm seeing it gave them the space to add these visuals in, and how cool that is just to have these like frames thrown in that allude to the scene without cutting away from the conversation. I really like that. It's like having some kind of, I don't know, you're cutting away, but you're not cutting away, but it's also not just like an overlap of footage. That's cool to me.
It's that bond. Like I had that similar.
And getting a little film nerdy for a second.
Bond with my mother, so I can only imagine, you know what I'm saying, what in the future. But like, she bought his first equipment.
Yeah.
She connected him to Doug Infinite.
Yeah, no idea.
You know what I'm saying? I need to get my child. I need you to teach him. Like she just instilled a certain amount of confidence, but then also taught him how to use that confidence. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? I was thinking about something I was gonna say to you, Kanye, that I thought
Giant
was
in the mirror.
important. How you were down to earth and everything, but you know you got a lot of confidence. Come off a little arrogant, even though you're humble and everything. But it'd be important to remember that the giant looks in the mirror and sees nothing.
One day I was just going through footage, and then all of a sudden, I hear her say, I have something important I want to talk to you about, Kanye. And I'm like, huh? And then when she said what she said, I'm like, why he is this giant, she give him that advice. And I'm like, did she say that now? I mean, did she say it then, or was she saying it right now?
Yeah.
Where she was, and I just so happened at the time, because a comment had Kanye's email, and I was just like, my subject was, your mom told me to send this to you, because she told me to say that. And I said it.
Ooh. Give me
Like,
goosebumps.
in a million years, I would have never thought that she said this.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow.
The giant looks in the mirror and sees nothing. Everybody else sees the giant. And that's so real, because we all giants. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We all giants.
Everybody who's been
That's cool.
us, like you, Coodie, like everybody who's been with Kanye, we're gonna make it, we're gonna do it. It's 2004, it's gonna be our best year ever, and that's what our resolution is, to make
Really
this
was.
the best year that
It was a
ever
great year.
for everybody on the team. Happy New Year!
Oh man. So that would have been, this is New Year's to 2004, so this would have been a month and 10 days, right? Because College Dropout dropped February 10th, 2004. So it really was just like a month and 10 days away from all of their lives changing. It's wild.
It felt like our lives were about to change.
That's what I just said.
Forever.
Man. The doc's so good. Okay, so I have some additional info. That was a Stony and Yates production. So I actually got to meet these guys at the Jeen-Yuhs after party. They were really awesome. Stony and Yates, like some streets in Chicago, but it has like a vibe to it, right? So directed by Carlton Sabs, executive produced by Corey Colvin and Cara Barnett, produced by Dominique Oliveto, produced by Miles Stroder, produced by GLC, right? GLC was helping out with this, which is cool. And then we got the director of photography was Domo Jones, editor VFX Rumen Andonov, art director Charles Johnson, and then DP Domo Jones got listed again. But just kind of like cool to see. Like I enjoyed that production. It's cool, especially when you like meet people and they're like, "Oh, we do this work," and then you see the work and you're like, "Oh, I genuinely like I enjoyed their work. That's good. So very cool to see and get to meet, like on my side, some more of the people that not only went into making the documentary, but making just some of the breakout stuff around the documentary. So that's cool. Doing some good work. And there's another one of these where it's like a talk with Coodie and Chike before the documentary came out. And then I'm sure there's going to be something else in the aftermath of part 3. But part 3 is coming in just a few days. And if you haven't watched part 1 and part 2 yet, I don't know what you're doing, because part 1 and part 2 are like goated. Especially, it's just such a good documentary, because as you saw some of the footage there's like a huge difference between modern documentaries really falling into a lot of the confessional style of things, where they'll show you some footage and then go to somebody that's sitting at like a table or in a chair and telling you about their experience, which is fascinating in its own right. It's not like I'm saying that's an invalid way to do a documentary or an inferior way to do documentary. It's not. It's just that's become so much the predominant style of documentaries, that to just have one that's historical and has so much historical footage that you're just steeped in that time and place, getting some of the modern day narration to direct you, to give you some context. It's not something that you see a lot of with documentaries today. So man, I'm just so happy that this is as good as it is and as fascinating as it is, and that Coodie and Chike are getting some shine, because like the time and effort they put into this documentary and the hundreds of hours of footage that they had, fantastic. I can't talk it up enough, and I'm excited to talk it up because it deserves it. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. So that's it for now. Until next time, stay wavy and keep it loopy. Cheers.